Welcome back, everybody, to yet another reaction from Screen to Shelf video. A monumental trailer dropped for the,
Oh, yeah.
I would actually kind of call it mysterious. A lot of people have been really curious. I would even say it kind of really matches the curious energy of whenever the original Joker came out, because Joker really never had an origin in the comic books outside of the Killing Joke. So people didn't really know how they would kind of tackle that, right? And I kind of found out today that there's people that actually hate that movie.
Dude, I gotta have a conversation with a lot of people on the Discord, maybe right after this. But I do agree, like this has been like just like a weird, I mean, even with the title and then like rumors about it being like a musical, and like it has kind of replicated the vibe of the original in terms of like you don't know what they're gonna do. And honestly, frankly, like after they ended the original, I didn't know what they were gonna do. I'm like, I don't know how you really follow up on the original Joker. Yeah, I mean, like, I mean, there's so many things they can do in terms of like, you know, the mythos and the comics and stuff like that. And this is kind of like a departure from the comics, just more grounded in reality. But it's like, I had no idea how they could follow up with the original. And I was actually fine with them not doing so, because I know Todd Phillips had said, he was like, I don't know if I can do it. And I think Joaquin Phoenix was like, yeah, we need to think of a really good story. So, I mean, whatever they came up with must have been, you know, like what you said, really monumental, because they came back. And yeah, dude, I'm excited for this one. I'm super excited for this one. So let's check out the trailer. You haven't seen it yet, right?
I saw the first little bit of it, but I didn't finish it all the way through. I genuinely despise watching trailers, but I really couldn't get a lot of the story out of this other than the dynamic. But we'll dissect that here in once you press play.
We got it. Let's go.
I will say that that peanut butter diet that he was on for the first one must have been excruciating, man.
Dude,
that doesn't look
I mean, he looks, just even there when he's in the cell, he looks creepy as hell.
Yeah. Lady Gaga's great in almost anything I've seen her into.
I'm going to talk about Lady Gaga after, because I'm going to surprise you with something.
Within ourselves.
Cool.
That's a beautiful shot.
Yeah, this is where I stopped because I loved that shot enough. I didn't want to be spoiled. That was a great shot.
I haven't done anything with my life like you have.
That's a gorgeous shot, too.
It's a great shot.
Let's get out of here.
That kind of reminds me of certain shots in La La Land right there.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. I don't know if you caught that in the background with the other Joker.
Oh, I gotta maybe rewind it.
Yeah, you'll have to.
Tell us, what's changed, Arthur?
I'll tell you what's changed. I'm not alone anymore. That's what we
You see, that is cool. I saw a screenshot for that.
Oh, I love that shot in the mirror with her on the makeup.
Yeah.
I want to see the real you.
Whoever thought of that shot deserves a raise.
That's a great shot.
That's a great shot.
They should have said the name in here so I know if it's Deuce, Doe, or Do.
I think it's Do, man. I forget the terminology for it. I do want to see you said like the Joker.
Yeah, right there. Yeah, I see right there in the back. Yeah, you can see him right there. You've got
it's like another Joker.
So you've got him in full-on costume, which I think that'll be cool, because I was going to bring that up as well. Now that we're going to dissect the full-on reactions in the later part, it kind of reminded me of the scene before he hops on and realizes that like he's kind of more infamous at this moment for what he's done. You know, like Viva La Revolution. Because I kind of got that vibe, like it might continue and actually pick up from that part. Because the thing about this, as I'm going to find super interesting, is like there were so much of I didn't know what was real and what was fantasy in the first one. You still really don't.
Sure.
You know what I mean? The only thing you can take as real is when he's in the cell at the end.
Yeah.
Which spoilers, of course, but if you're tuning in for the trailer for part 2, you probably watched.
It's been a few years, man.
Yeah. But I think they might hopefully pick up off of that, because that was one of personally my favorite scenes outside of the one with Robert De Niro on the talk show. But it seems like there might be a little bit of some type of play into that scene from the first one.
Yeah, I definitely get the sense like this stuff here, since we're like doing a quick dissecting. Like all this stuff, like this explosion, and like, you know what I mean? It's like, is this just an illusion, psychosis? And you really don't know. And I think that's why I loved what I loved about the first one, because when they dropped that kind of bombshell of like, you know, the girl, you know what I mean, and everything that was going on, you're like, well, what the hell was real and what was it? It makes you want to rewatch the movie just to kind of get a better gauge of it. But I hope they continue that with this one. I think it will kind of, you know, keep us in the mindset of the character where you don't know what's real, what's not. And I think it's fun that way. I don't think you need a clear-cut narrative. If anything, that kind of ruins the movie. And Lady Gaga, dude, I am actually a huge Lady Gaga fan. I don't think I've mentioned this on the podcast. I've seen her live like 2 or 3 times.
Oh, hell yeah.
She is honestly fan. Like I respect her just because she's a solid singer. She's a solid performer. And she really does care about the stuff that she does. So when they announced her as Harley Quinn, I was stoked. And she looks like she does a phenomenal job. And I like that she's not doing the whole, you know, Harley Quinn accent kind of thing, because I think some people were complaining about that. I think they need to kind of stray away from that for this installment, at least. Yeah,
I agree. And if you can, the part with her watching Arthur walk by, I think it was towards the beginning.
Oh, yeah, like when...
Right there. You just
like right here? Yeah.
A little bit past that.
A little bit.
Yeah. So like this, you can definitely tell it's gonna... I mean, he's still in a prison somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's still picking up on certain parts of that, like this part right here, because they're clearly still in the correctional facility.
Yeah, and they're in Arkham, maybe? I don't know if that's Arkham or what it's supposed to be.
That's what I was going to think, because it said Arkham Hotel on the Dance in the Moonlight. That reminded me of La La Land for that one shot.
Yeah.
But yeah, this part right here. So he probably got moved to Arkham rather than being in prison for being actually insane, because, I mean, it would make sense. Like, I mean, honestly, man, maybe a theory right here, but maybe we just watched him kind of telling his side of the story during a court case, and then you just saw the after effects from the original one. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
And that's his case for insanity. You
know
what I mean?
I mean, who knows, dude, where they're taking this? I mean, the reason I love it so much, or at least I know the first one is kind of like a, you know, it's a quote unquote, you can call it a ripoff of Taxi Driver. I look at it more as kind of like homage to Taxi Driver.
That's what I always been saying.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's not a total ripoff, but I mean, I get how some people kind of make that distinction, but it's, you know, it is kind of like Taxi Driver. But what I loved about Taxi Driver was just kind of like, as fucked up as the character was, right? Like you still kind of like in a weird way, almost like empathized with him in a weird, quirky way. You know what I mean? It's like this, you can tell this dude just doesn't understand, you know, social norms, social conventions and stuff like that. And I get the same thing with Joaquin Phoenix. Like he's a freaking, you know, cold-blooded psychotic murderer, but he's like, you know, there are moments of kind of like where you almost like feel for the dude.
Yeah, exactly. Like you have a level of sympathy.
Yeah,
for him.
For sure. But I mean, this looks freaking fantastic, dude. I mean, this is I think this is the La La Land vibe that you got.
Yeah, totally.
Right here. Yeah. And, yeah, dude, I just love all of these shots. Like, I mean, this one for real is probably one of my favorites.
Yeah, that looks great.
Yeah, it just looks, I think they really kept with the tone of the original. And I'm excited to see what they do with it, man. I mean, you can't go wrong. I mean, Gaga's great. Joaquin Phoenix is great. And I mean, Todd Phillips, I think, knew he wouldn't do this again unless he had a solid story.
Yeah. What's your biggest want from this?
Damn, dude. I really want them to dive into like their dynamic, Harley Quinn and Joker. My biggest concern is the musical part about it. I don't know like how extensive that's going to be. I think they're hinting at it in the trailer. They talk about music and they're dancing and they have numbers and stuff like that, but I don't know if that's just, you know, quick cut scenes that they do, or is it like whole numbers that they're doing?
That's what I'm curious about, because I did read something where they did. I'm pretty sure. I don't want to speak out my ass, but I'm pretty sure that they said that there's 14 confirmed songs performed in this movie.
14?
14. That's my biggest
God.
skepticism. I could be talking out the wazoo, but the thing is, I'm pretty sure I saw that somewhere. I'm pretty sure 14, because I remember that exact number associated with this. And then it was just recently, like last week or something, you know.
And these are like just original songs, like that they've
performed by them. Yeah.
Wow.
It could be like covers and stuff like that. I didn't read that much. I just saw something about 14 songs and Joker and stuff.
Yeah, and you and I have kind of expressed on the podcast like our not distaste for musicals, but we're just not we're not into them that much. Yeah, we're not the biggest fan. There are some, I will say, that have done it right. Like I'm a big fan of like Sweeney Todd. And I think the reason I liked Sweeney Todd a lot was just kind of like the music kind of blended in a lot with like the dark kind of atmosphere that was set with that movie. And if they can do something similar with this one, then I'm on board. But if it starts becoming kind of, like, we bring up La La Land, if it's just going to turn into La La Land, then that's going to take me away from the movie. So that's my biggest skepticism. But yeah, dude, my biggest one is just I want them just to really explore that Joker Harley dynamic, and I'm wondering how it's going to pan out. Because I'm curious if they're trying to go, when sequels come out, I start getting curious if there's going to be a trilogy or not. Is he going to try to do a third one after this, or is this, part 2 and it's over? I don't know. I got to wait and see to watch it.
Yeah, that's a great point, because I guess it'll all depend on how that ends, right? Because I didn't think that, like you said earlier, I didn't think there would be a sequel after the first one with the way that it ended. So it definitely has the potential there. I mean, it does look really good. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and call this my most anticipated movie of the year. It's the most intriguing movie of the year, because I mean, the musical aspect can really pay off. Like to give like the audience some insight on my taste in musicals. Like I've never seen La La Land. I've seen Grease. That's a pretty solid movie, but it doesn't have high rewatchability for me because I really don't care to sing along. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mine are like Tenacious D and The Pick of Destiny team, like you know what I mean, like that kind of stuff. South Park, Bigger, Longer.
Oh, dude, I was just about to say South Park. I love South Park.
Yeah, oh my God. It's like engaging stuff. But the thing is like I'm laughing. I'm tuned in, like versus like something like this that's probably going to be trying to use it more for an emotional elevation type of deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like to raise the stakes of the scene, to this, to that, to build a camaraderie, because based on a musical, I'd kind of have to assume that they might be trying to stray away. And I don't know, maybe they just don't want to give a lot in the trailer, but here's some food for thought. It seems like they're trying to stray away from that typical Harley and Joker dynamic, where it's kind of like the very abusive style relationship. You know what I mean? And maybe this could be like an actual full-on, just standard love story. And it's not this typical Joker and Harley Quinn story that we're kind of encountering. Right?
That's a good point. Yeah, they do away with the toxicity portion of it.
Yeah, which I'd be down for, but it could also be the spiral of it, because I mean, we didn't really get that vibe from him. We got him as a very caring person outside of like for people in higher positions of power. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was very caring about his neighbor and stuff like that in the first one. Like you really don't get that vibe about him. You know what I mean? But again, that could be his downfall in this one. But it would be kind of contradictory for them to kind of do that, thinking about it out loud, because of how the first one's handled. You know what I mean? But he could have trauma and scars that really carries over to the next one because of what he did to his mom in the first one.
Yeah, I don't know, man. If they did away with it, I'd be fine with it. The toxicity piece,
cool. Different.
I think it'd be, or I can see it kind of like maybe near the end is kind of like when everything kind of like what you said spirals out of control.
Yeah,
I mean the title really delves into kind of the shared delusion piece. That's what that term means, is shared delusion between two people. So it's I think it's delving into that, just both of them having a shared delusion, and what is it like, I mean, the first one explored just, it's a character study, right? Someone who's delusional and psychotic. It's like, looking at the world through their perspective, but what does the world look like through the perspective of two people, going through the shared delusion? How destructive can it be? So if that's the angle they're going for, I'm all in. But if they want to introduce the toxicity piece, I mean, that's always fun. I mean, I think that's what a lot of people come to expect with Joker and Harley. I mean, she's pointing a gun at him at the trailer. You know what I mean? I think there's a piece of the trailer she was pointing a gun at him. So I'm sure it's not going to be,
Maybe a reverse romance. Maybe she's got the power in this one. That'd be kind of cool too.
Oh, that'd be kind of interesting, right? Instead of Joker being the dominant one.
Yeah.
Harley's the dominant one. That would be interesting because something that threw me off too, I think we didn't talk about, is like, I was thinking when it was first announced, I'm like, how are they going to play this whole aspect of Harleen Quinzel, the doctor, and she slowly falls for
she's a
Joker, but it looks like she's already a patient, so I think they're doing away with that backstory, and looks like she's just already someone. I don't know what her backstory is going to be, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like, she's already in the hospital and she's already potentially just as crazy as he is.
Yeah, I mean, another thing is like, I don't know, maybe I can call a little bit of a plot point here. If that part, which it seems like it was, the part where he just was crazy in his head, or where it seemed like it was all imaginary, because I mean, there's multiple things in that to suggest that at least the part where like he was taken out of the car and stuff like that and heralded as like, the king and stuff like that. Maybe she was a part of those riots. You know what I mean? In the uprising.
True.
Maybe she was a doctor and then got thrown in there because she saw what he did and idolized him, because a lot of people had problems with the Gotham elites, which is what he took care of business in the first one.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the part that excites me the most, is at least I really liked that King Joker kind of style that they gave him towards the end of the first one. I thought that was really cool, a little bit different. So I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, dude, I'm super excited. This is definitely probably top 3 for me this year, for sure. Like, I've been super stoked for this one, and I'm finally, happy to see what they've been doing, because they've been so secretive about it. So we'll see, man. I mean, this is probably a day one for me for sure. So maybe, depending on, obviously, on our schedules, we can review it the night of. But I'm super excited for this.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, my number one has to be Furiosa, because Mad Max Furiosa.
Oh yeah, I know that for sure, dude. Yeah. I already knew that,
Furiosa. But this one's up there for sure. Yeah, this one's up there for sure. But yeah, and speaking of most anticipated, Civil War is another one of my most anticipated. So keep a lookout for that review coming pretty soon. That'll probably be probably our next video that we end up dropping, if not the very next one after that. So
absolutely,
appreciate you guys so much for tuning in.
Yep. See you guys later.